Hi, my name is Elena, and this is my channel, Read with Spinoodler, where as the world burns, we read together. And this is another rapid-fire literary fiction recommendation looking forward to Wonderthon. So, this category I have tentatively called content warning. So, if you read litfic, there is a chance that you are drawn to like slow and sad stories that are character driven, that are not necessarily super fast paced, but also like that might trigger some emotions you need to sit with. And although that is maybe not the best strategy for Wonderthon, where it's volume that you're supposed to go for, I do think at some points like we need to pace ourselves, and we also need to be true to our own like reader profile. Like if we are into litfic, there is a higher chance that we genuinely like slow and sad books. And so I think we should not completely reject that in the name of reading as many pages as possible. But again, do not come for me for like strategy advice. My main strategy, and to be fair, like I think like the blue team, the literary fiction team, has always had the ethos of like make Wonderthon work for you. Like it's supposed to be fun. Like no one is forcing you to do this. And of course, like you want to think about your team, but no one should get ill from this. No one should be put like in a reading slump because they read a bunch of books they didn't want to read. So this is for all the people who, will want something that is maybe challenging in terms of content and or pace. So, first in my content warning list is Freshwater by Akwa K. Macy. So Akwa K. Macy is, according to me, one of the most exciting contemporary writers, and they really like have fun. Like they jump genres. They've written romance, they've written fantasy. I don't think they've written science fiction yet, but they've written poetry. They've written like a paranormal romance that features polyamory that I read when it came out in December. But this is their debut. And it is a coming of age story of a kind of a trans Nigerian person. But what I would say it is an exploration of mental illness through an Igbo metaphysical lens. So it's an exploration of mental illness and maybe the multiple identities that is not through the grid of Western psychiatry. So I thought it was super interesting to look at it that way. So again, with these things, like there are some dark topics, so please proceed with caution, but I think this is a book that everyone who is interested in maybe non-carceral abolitionist futures of how we deal with mental illness should read. Just take care of yourself and be aware that it is quite intense. Like it is a short book, but there's a reason I didn't put it in my like fast and snappy section. Okay. Yes. So take care of yourself, but I do 100% recommend this. Next is a book I have talked about in my Half His Age review, so I will link that. But Indian Horse by Richard Wakamis. I did buy, when I was back in Canada recently, I did buy another Richard Wakamis book that I probably will try to read for Wonderthon, because June is also Indigenous History Month in Canada. So, but this one I have read and I do recommend. So I won't go about it too much because I did talk about it in my other video. But again, content warning. This is about residential schools where a lot of abuse happened. So, but It is absolutely beautiful, but just know the characters go through some harrowing things. But it is through the lens of a young boy, Saul, and his love for hockey. And I don't care about hockey, but I deeply cared about hockey in this book. Again, it's not that long. I wouldn't say it's hard to read in terms of the prose, but it might be hard to read in terms of the content. So, proceed with caution. Okay. And now, I love this book so much. Maybe I will reread it. Disorientation by Elaine Siechu. All right. So if you have read Yellowface, which is about a white woman pretending to be Asian because she perceives that she will get more opportunities in the publishing industry, I always pitch Disorientation as the literary version of that thriller. So it is about a PhD student doing her, so she's like Chinese American and doing her PhD on a Chinese scholar that has been like, and she came to this university specifically because there is a Chinese professor who is specializes in this literature. And we find out that not everyone involved is actually Chinese. So, I mean, I would say content warning for people who are still in grad school or who have been to grad school and still have wounds from that. It hits very hard in that sense. And talks about the kind of, the double bind of like, do you speak up for what is right, for what you believe, but do you throw away all of the work that you have done? Do you decide that the work you have is no longer valid because of the new information you uncover? How does that affect your identity as an academic? I think I'm convincing myself to reread it. But yes, so I will say, if you like Yellowface, but you want a more like literary take on that, I would recommend this. If you thought Yellowface was not for you, but you like the concept of kind of problematic racial cosplaying, this is also for you. So yeah, that is it for me for kind of content warning / this is like more dense kind of reads. But let me know what you have on your TBR or if you would recommend anything in any of these categories. See you next time.